Count us in.
3, 2, 1.
All right. Count us in.
One more time.
Count us in. Filmed in front of a live studio audience. Welcome back to Broke Till Friday podcast. Today filmed in front of a live studio audience of exactly one person. So we don't have her mic'd up, so you're not going to hear her laughs. We'll just have to look at her and make sure. Laugh louder. Louder. Count us in. Okay.
Just with the eyes of a dead person. Just
Exactly. So, Broke Till Friday podcast. Make sure to like it, subscribe, put a comment on the YouTubes, and rate it on Spotify so it gets shared with other people. Take advantage of the algorithm. I know China and TikTok is, so we'll try to do our best. And
I brought extra chewy gum so that the mic pick it up.
hell yeah, we got that chewy gum. Chewy, full name Jesus, and
Chewy.
and Ant-Man. Yeah,
Doing?
which Chewy?
Chewy.
We're filming this after watching that, man.
Yeah, so we just saw Ant-Man last night, had a bout of diarrhea, so couldn't record right afterwards. I did. And now Edward's got the diarrhea, and then eventually Hector's going to have it too.
It passed on. It's a stomach
We
bug.
have to share it with everyone. And
Remember, sharing is caring, so spread your diseases.
please.
Both of you guys saying, "Oh, I feel so out of shape." Maybe.
Yeah, so.
Oh, dude, I felt so out of shape during the hike.
Oh, during the hike.
Like, it took us like 3 hours to do a 5-mile hike.
Well, there's also the elevation, though, to be fair. Because if it was like a 5-mile walk, that's like, what, an hour and a half, right, walking? But yeah, I mean, if it's an elevation, you're going to be going up and down, taking breaks and stuff. But yeah, if you're not good at cardio, it's going to fuck you up.
And my lower back was fucking killing me, dude. I've never felt so old.
Edward. Well, so
I'm like halfway up the incline, and then my lower back is like, I don't think I want to work anymore.
Honestly, that means you're sitting too long then. That's why. So you got to stand up and stretch more, but also do back strength exercises like, walking around or running more. Because when you run, then you're running with the straight back, and then it strengthens your back more. Your back muscles will probably be sore for like the first week or two as it gets adjusted. But then eventually, they'll get stronger. You'll be able to actually hike next time without being like,
Yeah.
Because I know, like, that same thing happened to me where I'm sitting down all day and then I get up for like 10 minutes. I'm like, why does my back hurt all of a sudden? It's like, well, because I'm not doing anything all day.
Yeah,
so.
you're just sitting down.
Straight up. So.
And it's so much worse than just like walking. Because I recently had to walk from Little Tokyo to here to the house.
Why?
I didn't have a car for a minute, and I just got dropped off over there.
What is this, 2012? Hector walking everywhere?
That's my
Edward walking everywhere.
Edward walk.
No, Michael be like,
No.
let's just walk.
Edward and Alan walk into Boy Scouts all the time.
Yeah.
Well,
They'd leave
that's
like 2 hours ahead of time,
That's
and they'd get
what we
like 20 minutes late.
That's what I did too.
Yeah, but I'm like, walking to Southgate Park? I was like, I can play video games in the time you guys are walking.
It's literally for where I lived, it was 3 miles to get there and 3 miles to get back. So it was like.
Oh, because you were on the other side. You're right. You're already closer. You had a closer
you're
starting
right there.
point.
But I used it as training.
Yeah.
I used to run that to train for the marathon.
Okay.
that
Okay.
makes sense.
Distance. I know distance.
Noosh
3
wants to
miles
do a
an
half
hour.
marathon. So
Then let her do it.
no, she wants
Why don't
us to
you-
do a half
Why
marathon.
don't you?
So
do
here's what you do. You go
Yeah.
you go to a full marathon, you stop halfway and you go, I did a half marathon.
But
And then the bomb
facts.
goes off at
There's
the
still a half marathon during the LA marathon.
Boston bomb.
You literally stop at the halfway line and you have your own little ceremony and then you fuck off
Oh, perfect.
because most everyone's doing a marathon.
Yeah.
That's funny. They're like, woo! And it's like, oh, so what is this? The participation trophy for the quitters?
Yeah, basically.
They just hit you in the head with it. No,
Straight up.
I say she does, but like we want to do a half marathon. That's part of the reason why we went on a hike today.
It's probably gonna take you.
So
It's
Yeah.
probably, since you walked how many miles? 5, right?
5
So
in 3 hours.
3 hours.
Jesus.
You get
That's
finished.
almost a mile an hour.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's almost 2 miles per hour. Damn.
That's pretty slow.
Well,
Yeah.
but again, remember the elevation incline going up and down and stuff. It's a lot different than just running
But
in a
there's
straight
also
line.
hills at the half marathon.
That's dumb. Why?
Why not?
No, that's dumb.
Oh, because
Just
it goes through LA. Yeah,
give me a straight line.
There's
Straight line or
hills.
nothing. No. Straight line or
There's
nothing.
only like some hills though. I'll give it that. There's some hills, because when you pass through Chinatown and you pass through the
Asian American town, I think they're calling it
Little
now.
Tokyo, Yeah, it has hills. I think like when we're going up 5th Street. I think that's called 7th Street, and then we're walking through Sunset Boulevard, all the way. We're running through that all the way, reaching Echo Park. No, Griffith Park. Echo Park.
Whichever one the homeless people are in.
They're both.
¿Por qué no los dos?
They're both. Yeah, it's
They're both
Isn't that
packed
just all
with
of LA?
homeless people.
We're gonna. I know.
I know you wore the loudest pants, and then everyone's just gonna hear.
I just take them off. I have shirts under.
Oh.
Oh, okay. I was like, I thought you were just gonna get
Just
naked
rip
in
away
front of
pants,
us. All right.
you know?
Oh, okay, you're cut off below the belt. You're fine. Take them off.
Our no, Hector's our resident stripper. Just tear
Oh
away
yeah,
pants.
you got parachute pants.
So the audience is either gonna listen to Hector's pants or my chewing from the gum. So you know.
Yeah, I can't even hear you chewing, but I'm like Hector's fans are going.
I stop.
Get the windshield wipers on. So
Edward, we're gonna gaslight you to train. I'm gonna train you like I trained Andres.
badly.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Every day.
Andres kind of look like me.
It's like, hey, Edward, you're outside, and you're like, for what? You know for what? And then you get ready. We're
And then
gonna
he shoots you in the back
I'm
of the
just gonna
kneecap.
throw you into what's it?
Traffic. You gotta outrun traffic. You gotta outrun the
I'm gonna
101.
throw you at Skid Row. You gotta go.
Oh yeah. He's like,
Skid Row with a bunch of dollar bills hanging
yeah,
out.
it's 2 a.m. You're covered in grease and in dollar bills, and he pushes you out of the car, and you're like, what? You're barely awake, and then you hear homeless people being like, hey, that guy got money, and you're like, ah! But they
Right.
can't catch you because of the grease, so you keep slipping off like a grease pig, and then yeah, you make it back. So, but knowing Edward, I feel like he'll just become friends with the homeless people and then not have to do anything.
I'm just there chilling, like
He's
campfire.
like, I don't even know where these dollars are from. I think they were Hector's dollars, and Hector's like, where the fuck is Edward and my $500 that I plastered on him? And you're just giving you're just giving away $500 a week to homeless people.
And I'm just-
Yeah, and I
anyway, this is just Wonderwall.
He still has to walk home.
Honestly, no, he doesn't have to walk home anymore. They get pushed in the shopping cart for $500 in Skid Row. Psh, you're getting that primo shit, dude. You're getting treated like Senor Rockefeller.
Uber economic.
Uber H. The H is for homeless.
Oh God.
Oh, this is huge.
We have Uber, Uber X, and Uber H. What's Uber H? It's a homeless guy pushing you around in a shopping cart.
We went from running a marathon to homeless people.
No.
Surprisingly enough, there's not a lot of homeless people that show up because the police basically kick.
So you've done this before?
Hector's the one policing it. Let me see if I can- there
Nah,
we
it's because remember like last year I think it was, or a couple of months ago, some rich dude in Tech Valley got his house burned down, and he assumed it was a homeless person that did it, so he set a bounty on him. He was like, I'll give anyone who captures him
fucking
like
death
100K or
stroke
some
hunting
shit.
a
Yeah.
homeless guy.
Yeah, no, he like offered up like some absurd amount of money. I forgot how much exactly, but it was thousands of dollars.
Jesus.
Like just like, hey, find this homeless person. Whoever finds him, I'll give them all this money, and just set it out to like the wide, just anybody.
Go
It
and
was just wild.
get me Dirty Bob's head,
Yeah.
$1,000, and then the homeless Batman comes out.
Wait, that's illegal, no? You just
I
can't.
don't think it's legal to put a bounty on someone. Yeah,
I think,
It's
yeah.
not, but rich people, like, what are they
yeah,
gonna
that's
do?
true.
Like any like, what's the worst that can happen? A fine? They're just gonna.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, it's 100,000 that I'm putting on his head plus the fine. Oh, it's like okay.
the city's commission basically.
Yeah, the city's commission. Yeah,
Jesus.
got to give a cut to the city. You know.
So yeah, I think you should have a whip and just be whipping Edward to run faster. That's basically what you're gonna do. Or
I mean,
get,
isn't that what I did in high school?
pretty much.
Except it was with a tire instead of a whip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll be training Edward. So
The ways
we
of the
now
Edward.
have no. This is
The ways of the Hector.
the ways of the Hector. Exactly. This is ways of the Hector. We got Edward 2, Way of the Hector.
No,
and then-
book 2. Edward. It just says Edward.
Edward.
Yeah. Book 2, Edward.
Book 1, Andres. Book 2, Edward.
Book 3, and then it's just
Walter
like
did it
question
by
mark.
himself.
Oh yeah, Walter.
Walter's like.
That's a spin-off. That's the Walter Chronicles.
Yeah. Walter,
And Walter's Adventures in
well, I'm
Korea.
gonna do the one in San Diego, and I'm like, why? Yeah.
Honestly, why the fuck? I'm gonna go all the way down to a whale's vagina just to run a marathon. Like, come on.
It's like that's a 2-hour ride, dude.
Yeah.
Without traffic.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Without
that's about 2
traffic.
hours.
When I remember one time, my mom picked me up, and then she's like, "I'm too tired to drive home," and I'm like, "Are you asking me to drive home?"
After I ran a
After the
marathon.
and she's like, "Yeah."
She's like, yeah, there was traffic, dick. It was like 45 minutes.
And then it was like 45 minutes going home, and that shit was. Well, it depends on the sun. The only thing that will make this run horrible is the sun. If it's stupid hot, you're just sitting there tired, and you're like, fuck.
Bacon.
No matter how much water you get, because there's basically water every mile.
Mm-hmm.
And
Take 30 cups, just go.
no, that's you gotta be careful, and you don't want to drink every mile.
Because
Unless
you
you're
pee
one of those-
yourself or what?
That, or you get a water, or like a water
Water
belly.
stomach?
Yeah.
Oh,
Water belly, whatever they call it.
they're just running around.
Isn't there something called like
Yeah.
water poisoning too?
Well, that's if you drink like you can
Absurd
drown.
amount.
Yeah, you can drown
just
yourself.
drown. There's not water poison. Drown.
No, that's what it is. Oh, that water poisoning is
Water
drowning.
poisoning, just drowning,
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah, but like people have drowned on land when they're like doing water chugging competitions, and the lady drank so much water, she inhaled some, blah blah, and then she
Oh.
died.
Mm.
So,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That
okay.
sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
but
No,
let's
that's
let's,
awful. Fuck.
let's get Edward trained on the marathon.
All right.
I'll be watching from the side, stroking my belly. So Ant-Man. What are
Ant-Man.
we? Okay.
Speaking of
Nah.
marathons,
Speaking
how's
of
it?
marathon. No, Ant-Man was
It
the
wasn't
marathon.
long.
It
It
was
wasn't
it was
long.
only 2 hours
Yeah.
long. It didn't even feel like 2 hours to be honest.
It really didn't.
And it was okay. So I gave it 8 out of 10. Hector gave it.
I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
All right.
8 hectares out of 10. Perfect.
Hey,
I give it 8 hectares, 8.5 hectares out of 10.
8.5 out of 10.
Yes.
All right. What justifies a half point to you?
The half point, the end credit scene.
That's
Yeah,
Walter.
okay, I
Walter
mean,
said that too.
I feel like that's what put it for an 8 to me. Because the
Yeah.
first time I saw it, I was like, okay, like a 7, But then, seeing the end credit scene, taking everything in account and
Mhm.
everything, I was like, okay, yeah, it's a solid 8. Because I'm like, I'll watch it again, just for Kang's performance alone. Like
Yeah.
his
yeah.
fucking face half the time, where he was just like, and you're like, oh fuck, what's he gonna say?
Yeah,
and
it's
he's just like,
"Ah."
Janet, or where he's like, I'm a patient man, and then he's like,
He has that demeanor, that face of like a thinly controlled anger. Like,
yeah, psychopath,
like
and
just like,
and he
"Don't make me
when
say it again.
straight
It's
up,
just,
and I'm a man who wants to be understood. And then like you're like, okay, man, like he's like, you get it, fool, and it's like, yeah, fool.
You understand? I'm the only like Thanos. I'm the only one who understands.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he's the only one with his eyes open, but that's what all the crazy people say, when they're like,
Yeah.
I got to be the one to rule and stuff like that. But it's funny how he was like, yeah, something worse is coming, which, I mean, he's technically right that something worse is coming, but also the conscience of, trillions of deaths thanks to you, but also trillions of deaths that are happening right now not thanks to you. This is the trolley problem.
Oh.
Ant-Man 2 was a trolley problem. Do you let Kang out and move the track killing other people, or do you leave it and leave a bunch of Kangs who are still killing other universes?
It's not.
It's a trolley problem.
I don't think so, because
Yes.
here's the thing.
Trolley problem.
Under the Kangs, as long as all the Kangs exist, there's an infinite multiverse, right? Because we know that if one Kang ends up winning, it becomes the sacred timeline. We already know what happens when one Kang wins. But
the sacred timeline was because they want to balance it, and Kang even said with all like the incursions and stuff happening,
Mhm.
like there's already deaths happening because they're just fucking around with the multiverse. They're
Yeah.
not like taking care of it, which is what he's
yeah,
wants to do.
the one Kang that was left that won the war essentially made it so that there's essentially only timelines where he doesn't exist, the sacred
Mhm.
timeline.
Yes.
But how do you call it? I feel like this is one of the plot holes in the movie. Oh, not necessarily plot holes, but kind of like logical kind of inconsistency,
Hmm.
because whether or not they let him out, because it's an infinite multiverse, trillions will die no matter what.
Yeah.
It does not matter. Like it which ones die might change depending
Trolley problem.
on whether you let them out or not. But no matter what, the same amount of people will die.
Well, I don't know. Oh, so
Because
okay,
it's infinite.
So that yeah, I was gonna say because hypothetically it is infinite, yeah, but
So
I guess
no matter what,
because Janet saw exactly what he'd already done,
Done.
that's why she didn't want to let him out, even though he knew what the other ones were capable of, and now we know that because in the end credit scenes,
Mhm.
oh, spoiler alert, everyone, sorry.
spoiler alert.
In the end credit scenes, when we see the Council of Kangs, and he's like, "Who'd you call?" And he's like, "All of us." And then we see all those Kangs. We
Mhm.
know that they're gonna go. And there's gonna be a fucking Kang battle in the Avengers Kang Dynasty, all that stuff. The future projects coming up, because they're starting to touch it, so they know that if the main MCU universe is starting to touch it, then they're gonna start being
Mhm.
noticed and seen for who they are, kind of like how Kang was seen for who he was once Janet was like bzz inside his brain.
Yeah.
But
Like
I
the
it's a
trillion
trolley
side.
problem. Like if we boil it down, it's a trolley problem. Do you let him out, killing who knows how many trillions, or do you let him live, but the other ones are still killing trillions? But I guess she didn't know that it was a trolley problem. 'Cause
Yeah.
she doesn't know the other ones are killing a bunch of people because he's
no, well,
he's the
also
one
that's
going, I
not,
gotta kill.
But she's only
that's not
co-
the trolley problem necessarily.
Yeah, because she was only concerned about her world.
Yeah.
So I-
But
no,
he
she
said
wasn't
he
concerned
no no
about her world.
she
It was
wasn't
the exact opposite.
because
Yeah.
he even told her
Your
she was
world
she was
will
like
live.
trillions will die. He's like, but not yours.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, but also remember in the end credit, well, in the end, sorry, at the end of the movie when he was like, we had a deal, you know. But so who knows if he would have even kept that up?
Yeah.
Probably
well,
wouldn't have.
The reason why I don't say it's the trolley problem because an intrinsic factor of the trolley problem is that you're causing less harm, but the harm you do cause is directly attributed to you. So like
Mm.
it's 5 people, but you don't have any responsibility because you didn't pull the lever, or
Mhm.
1 person and you save those 5 people,
But then you actually
do
did
the
kill
thing.
the one person.
But the thing
yeah.
is that aspect of it doesn't exist in the movie because no matter what, trillions will die.
Well,
The same amount of people will die no
also,
matter what.
the reason it's an ethical problem is because like, well, if you see it and you have the power to change the lever, and you didn't, then technically you did cause those 5 people to die. You know, that's
Yeah,
the ethical
That's the ethical
dilemma.
dilemma.
Because it's
but-
like, do you kill one for less people, or do you do nothing and let those 5 people die, even though it wasn't you to begin with, but you're still
Yeah.
letting them die? You're still responsible for their deaths at the end because you had the option to pull the lever.
Yeah, but then that's ethical justification after the fact.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not that's not during.
But that's what I was saying. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know I'm simplifying it, but it's like
Yeah.
Ant-Man 2 is a trolley problem where it's like, do you let them out, let trillions die, or keep them in, and inadvertently trillions are still dying.
Mm-hmm.
So
So no matter what, like
You're fucked.
She didn't have an actual choice. there. No
exactly.
matter what, she's fucked.
Yes. So and then we never ask why were the people tied to the rails in the first place.
Exactly.
So
What
but
if they murdered 30 babies? Like, you never know.
exactly,
You never know.
exactly. It's like in the end of The Grudge when she's like, I let her spirit out, and the little kid's like, why would you do that? Like, you fucking idiot. Because she thought that by letting the spirit go, she was like, she's gonna finally rest. But it was like, no, now she's free to fuck around with everyone.
Yeah.
And like, you know,
I still
yeah.
don't think it's a trolley problem. I think it's a different ethical dilemma. I think it's the I forgot what it's called, but it's basically like what is your justification for punishment?
Mhm.
This Kang has already killed like trillions, right?
Mhm.
Already. He's already one of the worst serial killers ever in history, essentially. Is punishment, or should you let him out to prevent a worse punishment? Should you punish this Kang, or should
Mm.
you let him go free and then prevent others from doing more suffering?
Well,
Like,
to be
what should
fair,
be the reason for punishment, essentially?
to be fair, she didn't know if he was telling the truth or not because he'd lied before. So.
That's true. That's true. She
'Cause
didn't know
he
about
was
the
like-
Kangs.
Exactly. He was like, I'm a traveler. I got stuck here. But it's like, no, he was
Yeah.
exiled.
He
So
was
from that,
exiled.
after the
Wait, but-
the mistrust plus the horrors that she saw in his head leads her to not take any of his words seriously. So how does she know that? Oh, I need to be let out because there's a bigger batter. It's like, what do you mean? I just saw you killed a bunch of people. Why would I listen to you?
Wait, but hold on. Wait. Okay, now I'm questioning something. She specifically said she looked into his mind.
Yeah, with
So,
the machine.
Generally speaking, that means she more or less knows what he knows, or like what he's done, what he's seen.
Well, she said she only saw the deaths, and then
Did she say
saw
she
the
only
horrors.
saw that, or did she say she saw that?
She said she's like, what they asked her, what did
'Cause
you
that
see? What did you see when you
changes.
looked into his mind? And she was like, I saw the death the death, trillions and timelines being erased. Because when she got off, it like shut off.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's not like, oh, I got to see everything immediately at once. It was just that flow of stuff that she saw, which was the most intense things. And then,
Mhm.
and then she's like,
yeah.
so, you know, because I'm sure if she was like, bzzz, and then she's like, oh, okay, I get it now, but there
Mhm.
was no time for that.
Yeah, there was not enough time for everything. She just saw the destruction. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Understandable.
So that's why I'm like, yeah, even though he's saying there's other Kangs, she's not going to trust him at all after seeing what she saw
Yeah.
and the story that he told her. Like, if he had just told her, I was exiled here because I was trying to stop them, that could have gone along a little better, maybe, but he was lying off the bat.
Yeah.
I'm just a traveler.
And he's always,
need help.
if you notice, he's always cryptically vague, even when it hurts him.
Yes.
He always thinks he's like, I mean, sometimes it helps him, like being cryptically vague. But then other times it hurts him, and he's always cryptically vague. Like he never specifies anything at all in the entirety of the movie.
Speaking about vagueness, I fucking hated that. So okay, so that was the one thing that could have fixed. I mean, I know it's the whole like, oh, it's conflict for the sake of conflict, but it's like, why the fuck didn't she say anything about him beforehand? You know, when she's like,
Right.
guys, shh. And he's like, while we stand here, why don't you tell us about what the problem is? And it's like, no, guys, you don't understand. I can't talk about it. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah, she's like
This is
the way I see it, like it's because they try to play it off as like she's guilt, right? She has guilt for
Yeah.
helping, you know, the worst serial killer ever in history, presumably because
Yeah.
he's killed trillions. So like presumably it's that guilt, right? But
Mhm.
I mean, he's still in his jail. Like, sure, she gave him power to rule over that little microverse, but he's still technically in his jail.
He's still exiled.
Yeah, like,
He's still exiled.
So it's like, hey, I helped someone, but then I still left him in his jail cell.
and Cassie says, I've been poking around the quantum realm, was reading the stuff. So it's like, she's poking around in it. You don't think there's a chance that she could find out what it is?
Yeah.
But she was like, no, because you can't look past like the microverse or whatever, and this and this and this. So there was no way they were really gonna get to it. She thought,
Cassie was the only one to reach there.
yeah,
'Cause
well,
her signal reached all the way down.
yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna say she bumped the signal all the way down, and then MODOK found it.
Mm-hmm.
Modoc.
MODOK. Oh, okay. But how about we? Okay, so the elephant in the room,
The MODOK in the room.
the MODOK in the room. Was this not essentially just Rise of Skywalker done better? Everyone says that it's basically Star Wars. Well, not everyone. I'll
was
go
like,
to you for your thing. But
No.
almost everyone else in the friend group said this was basically like Star Wars. And I specifically said this is essentially Rise of Skywalker done better. Like this is like Disney took they went up to the batter's box a second time. Like they threw the pitch again,
Mhm.
and this time they actually hit the ball instead of like fumbling it.
All right. Before we discuss that, what is your understanding of Rise of Skywalker? How do you interpret that movie?
I no. Well, what I feel is like they took the blueprint of Rise of Skywalker and then like the bare bones of Rise of Skywalker, some of the themes, some of the aesthetics, and then repackaged it and essentially did it for the purpose of Ant-Man and his story for this movie. Is essentially my claim or whatever. Like you have
I don't think so.
you have the arc with Ben Solo in MODOK kind of done whatever, kind of played for laughs.
Mhm.
Which I mean, if you accept the premise that it is redone, it's like they're poking fun at themselves for messing up Ben Solo's story at the end. How do you call it? You have the how do you call it? First off, you have the aesthetics, and you have a little bit of other of like the other themes in both in last in the Last Jedi and in there, where like they diverged into one going into a place of like capitalism or whatever, and like showing like the dirty underground, which is what they did in this one, where they went to the mosque or like not the mosque cantina, what's that one place where Rose and Finn went to?
The casino or
The
some
casino
shit?
or
I don't
whatever.
even
They have the
fucking-
same type of thing in this one, where they go to like the alien casino bar place, and the other ones go to like the refugee underground type of place,
Well-
which is the same thing that the other ones did.
I guess, but it wasn't like they went there because they chose to. It was like they got captured and were taken by the rebels, and then she met someone who she thought was a rebel, but had ended up turning into like the Imperial.
Oh, no. The same thing happened here.
No, but what happened?
They
That's what I'm
chose
saying.
they chose to go to the casino. They went to someone who they thought would be a rebel, which was in this case
No, I was describing
Yeah,
Ant-Man. I was describing Ant-Man.
that's the same thing happened in the Last Jedi. Rose,
No,
Tico, and
Ant-Man
Finn
was-
chose to go to the casino place. They met
Who
up
were
with
they
someone they
talking
thought was
to?
a rebel. The scoundrel. They thought they met their Han Solo or whatever, and then that Han Solo turned out to be a traitor for the. It turned out to
For
be
the
working for
Empire.
the Empire.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah,
the
like
guy.
a lot of the themes of the last two movies or like a lot of the instances that happened in the last two movies of the Star Wars franchise kind of reappeared in this movie. So like the coloring and the aesthetics of this movie were really similar to
I
the Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
I was
There's
gonna
just
say,
too many similarities.
as-
Like it's nothing concrete, right? It's nothing
'cause I'm
concrete.
like, it's
But there's a
stretch.
lot of similarities, both in like things that happen within the movies that also happen in the Last Jedi and in Rise of Skywalker. The aesthetics, the color schemes, even like some of like the plot points, like Leia sending out a giant signal to everyone in the galaxy, And
Well,
there you
I
go.
feel like okay, so that's been done numerous times though, where they're like, "This is a call to action," and where they're like, "We interrupted their radio waves." Like that's been done so many times.
yeah, that has.
I
been
would
done,
I
but
wouldn't say
in
it's
this
exclusive to
specific
that
thing.
because it was done also in Andor, where they're like. Where the lady comes up during her funeral and then she ends up doing a call to arms instead of like everyone thinking, oh, it's just her last words. So it's like whenever there's like a rebellion, regardless of whether it's like Star Wars, fucking whatever it is, Marvel, whatever it is, right?
Mhm.
Anytime there's gonna be like that sort of rebellion versus a dictator, there's always gonna be that call to action. There's gonna be that we have to do this, like because that's the nature of a rebellion.
Yeah, resistance
Yeah.
versus the order.
Yeah. Like that's just the that's
Yeah,
the story. You
I
get-
guess.
that's the story.
I guess
That's like
I'm-
saying, oh, a stranger comes to town versus a hero's journey. Like there's only two stories,
No,
you know.
but yeah, you're talking about like two different, but they're two different complex. Honestly, the aesthetics look similar, right? You go.
I feel like that's
you
a
go-
stretch though, because I'm like, well, it's taking place in a subatomic place, which is a combination of like space.
But then there's high
and
technology, and then there's those.
Yeah, the
different
ants had a
people,
class 2 civilization.
different
like,
kinds of life forms, like aliens, whatever. They're not aliens.
yeah, because they're subatomic
They're subatomic.
micro people, you know, that
Yeah.
live in a universe
But
beneath ours.
The plot is very different because it's multiverse related, not the whole system, solar system.
Well, in this one, it's not multiverse.
it is multiverse related.
Well, yeah,
It
yeah,
never
because
gets to the multiverse place. They stop him before it ever goes to that.
yeah, but that's the conflict.
But
like,
yeah, I would
to
say
not
that the
get
conflict
Yeah.
resolution is to not get to a certain place. It's not like, oh, because he's going to dominate this. He's already dominated this place. That's the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah,
He's already dominated it, and it's just the storyline of resistance rising up.
Yeah, I mean that's the story, but I guess I'm attributing those factors to the other two because the other things that I find so similar about it. Like I thought this like a quarter of the way through the movie that like this is eerily similar to Rise of Skywalker.
Well, no, because also there's no
like
person
once
that,
they went into
like,
the
let's
thing.
say the villain wasn't someone that they thought was dead or anything like that. That they're like, we already defeated him, and then he somehow came back. That didn't happen, which was the main antagonist. There was no secret warships that came out of nowhere. It was already
Wait,
very
hold on,
well
no.
established.
The platforms would functionally serve as the same thing.
Platforms.
Yeah, the platforms that they were on, the whole Citadel. The whole Citadel was supposed to be like a type of warship. He was like, I'm bringing the Citadel with me. Those were his warships.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But you know how
And they all rose from the ground until they fell back down.
But a humongous plot point was that they had no idea they'd built a secret set of warships where, like I
she
said,
didn't know that he was planning to take the thing. She just wanted to stop him from leaving. They did not know that the platforms were meant to function as warships. We and the in-universe characters didn't know that until he said it. He was
Well-
like, "I'm taking my army I've raised an army and I'm taking it with me." And then he started
Well, yeah,
levitating
yeah.
the platforms.
then I guess that you could say that's like the Empire when the Empire is just mobilizing, but
all
that's
these-
any force. You
all
know, that's
these
any
are
force
planet
regardless of story.
destroyers.
I mean, yeah, but then
Yeah,
you could
yeah.
just say that. Wait, then yeah, it is the starships.
No, but so my point is that a central plot point in that Star Wars movie, Rise of Skywalker, is that they had no idea that there was a whole nother set of army that was somehow, because that's the words
Yeah.
they used, somehow secretly being built, and then there were somehow Palpatine clones, and like again, central antagonist completely
Yeah, but no,
different.
that's
and
what I
then
mean.
the-
Like Rise of Skywalker was so poorly done, and this one was their like rehash of that thing.
I don't think both of them weren't poorly done. Honestly,
I think Rise of Skywalker
one-
was very poorly done.
well, yeah. The Star Wars, the movie was pretty bad. It
Yeah.
was pretty bad.
I feel Quantumania is just their like. It's not just there, obviously, but
When
it's
she's
like
like,
the
Ray Skywalker. It's like, you fucking kidding me? What is this
Yeah.
dog shit?
but
Like,
yeah, but these unfortunately, like I said before, the Ant-Man movies
Mhm.
was just there to connect the bridge to something bigger.
yeah.
Because honestly, this movie objective wasn't to be the best movie of the year.
Well,
Obviously.
because remember, it's a very good
Mhm.
comic book movie, and it fits
Yeah.
well into the storyline, the overarching storyline. But that's what it's supposed to do. It's kicking off the new phase and showing us like, okay, here's a preview of what's to come.
Honestly, I thought Shang-Chi or Wong was gonna pop into that dinner.
Nah,
I was
you're
like,
fine.
Scott Lang, we have to talk. It was really like that.
No, well, but so that's the other thing
Yeah.
too, where he's one of like the older Avengers at this point now too. So maybe he's kind of that's why they have her now with her suit. Introduce her later on with some of the younger people coming in the Avengers teams and everything. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's why at the end it says Kang will return. It doesn't say Ant-Man will return. Like, we know obviously Ant-Man's gonna pop up when they need him or whatever, but for the most part it's like, well, he stopped Kang for now. So later on when Kang pops up, he's gonna be the person going, oh, I know him, and like, you know,
Dude,
that's gonna be the thing they do.
Because like obviously, it was pretty like when he went to the room of possibilities.
Mhm.
That shit was intense to me.
Oh,
I was
because
like-
you were high out of your mind.
No, I wasn't high. I was like,
No?
I was
Okay.
like, Jesus Christ. Like, because when you saw him, like, literally, like, ripped
Oh,
to shreds.
the version of him, yeah, I was like, I gotta get out of here, turn big, and then vroom, fall apart. Yeah,
Fall
Yeah,
apart, and,
that
like,
was
how's
a
that
probability
that was pretty
storm.
cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
but I'm like, how's that happen? Oh, it's a probability.
Yeah, every Schrodinger's box, and he's the cat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Every single probability that could happen, any single action you could take, but all at once.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm not gonna lie. The second that was said, for like a good portion of that scene, I was just thinking about the magic card, because there's a magic card called Probability Storm.
Look at that. MODOK's a Magic fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Loser.
Say, Moda.
So
L.
yeah, what do you want?
I know that was so funny. He was like, Darren, MODOK. Yep. But yeah, I think MODOK was pretty like he was so ridiculous that it fit perfectly with what MODOK is, you know,
I
like the
think they
squished
had
up
to make him
face and
more
everything.
ridiculous.
Of course, yeah, because you're not gonna be like, oh, he's someone who's taken seriously, because in the comics he's
Yeah.
not someone who's like taken
Not really.
seriously. Yeah, he's a
maybe, like,
genius.
twice that they like he was taken seriously.
But-
Maybe.
Yeah, like, but he's like a joke, and so that's why his like redemption. It's not really a redemption. It's just his fucking mental illness or whatever, you know, because
Yeah.
he's already gone insane from
Because he
being
thinks
crushed
he's
down
like
and
the
everything.
best. Right?
Exactly.
I don't even think he's gone insane. I think that's just typical. He always thought he was the best, and now he's just like
He was like, well,
you're
you've always
like
been
a
a brother
brother
to
to
me. Like,
like
I have?
Oh,
I
yeah,
have.
okay, Yeah. yeah.
Dumb
I'm an
as
Aven-
shit.
I'm
But
an
that-
Avenger now.
yeah, it's like, at least I die an Avenger. He's like, yep,
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, sure.
But it's
Just-
like-
just die.
He's like, well, what a day. But yeah, it just kind of gets brushed over because it's like, yeah, like he's a fucking
Yeah.
joke, you know? It's like, yeah, oh well. And it's funny because Bill Murray initially was like, yeah, a mechanized organism designed only for killing. And then that's when you, like,
Mhm.
that was the first MODOK drop.
Modoc.
I know.
the first MODOK thing.
Of for killing, it's MODOK. And he's like,
MODOK.
silence. So, yeah, I thought we were going to see him turn a little faster, you know? But when he got like slammed in the wall by Kang, and Kang was like fucking with him, he was like, I
Yeah.
thought we were gonna see something there, because yeah, you see like the abuse, blah blah blah. But yeah, it was
I don't know. I think he should.
It was not Star Wars.
I think he
It
should have.
was
He
not
should have
Star
stayed. I think so. I think so. Yeah.
You
It-
failed to prove your point, Edward.
All right.
You've been outvoted. You've been out. You've been outdone. yeah.
Outvoted on the podcast, but not in the group chat.
It was just you and Michael.
I
It was
know.
me,
Yeah.
Michael, and
And
Walter.
Chess doesn't count because no
Oh,
matter
then
what, you
Walter.
just hate.
Yeah.
You just hate
Did
Miles.
Walter say that?
Yeah.
too?
So it's 3v2.
I don't know.
So in the group chat, I'm still in the
Walter
right.
didn't say shit.
I'm gonna ask them.
Walter's not here.
Because it was like, yeah, that's true. Walter doesn't count. He's in Korea. Michael's not here either.
Yeah, he's
so-
abroad. His vote don't count.
Exactly. Yes, that's true. Remember, if you're in a foreign country, your vote don't count in America. So, no, they actually have mail-in ballots just for
Unless you live in Puerto Rico.
away.
Technically speaking, even if you're an American citizen, if you're in Puerto Rico or the Samoa, I
American
think it
Samoa.
is,
Yeah.
your vote doesn't count. You can't vote.
What?
Puerto Rico's
Yeah.
just
Edward.
So if you're abroad, like in England or whatever,
If
or
I'm
in
abroad, if I'm a bimbo,
like
a big
Japan or
booba.
something, like your vote counts. You can just mail it in. But if you're, I think it's Puerto Rico and America Samoa, your vote doesn't count.
Let's see. So, yeah, there is voting. What are you talking about?
There's voting.
So the House of Representatives and the Senate. Yeah, they even have elected officials. Edward,
Hold on, let me Google
better
this.
call Edward. Can American Samoan vote for president? Let's see. So, so unlike citizens of other U.S. territories who are U.S. citizens, American Samoans are U.S. nationals. Neither citizens nor nationals of U.S. territories vote in federal elections and pay federal taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, they don't pay for it.
they cannot vote in the general presidential election. Yeah, so American Samoans can't vote in the president.
president.
They are citizens. The only U.S. territory without U.S. birthright citizenship is American Samoa, but I know Puerto Rico. You're a citizen for sure.
Yeah. Of course, you have to be living there. You can't just
Yeah. Individuals born in Puerto Rico are considered citizens of the United States. Residents of Puerto Rico cannot vote in federal elections, but they do elect a non-voting resident commissioner to Congress.
Yeah.
They do not collect income tax for those residing on the island. That's weird.
Yeah.
What's
so
up with
like,
that? Turn them into a
so
state
like, let's say
already.
you're born here in California,
Bullshit.
you move to Puerto Rico, can't vote.
Yeah, because if you're a resident of there, but
Yeah,
that's why
as
you
long as
just
you're
keep
a resident.
you do the LAUSD trick and you lie and you're like, my mom's house is in the U.S., so I still
Yeah.
live there. I
You
get to
know?
vote.
Exactly.
Yeah, like one vote matters. Yeah,
Anyways.
votes are in pretty small margins, but yeah, Ant-Man 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
8.5.
8.5 out of 10.
8.5 out of 10. I think it was generally good. I was actually really excited to see the Human Torch coming to the MCU.
Oh yeah, so that drop. Victor Timely is the Kang variant that we're
Mhm.
seeing. We saw in the second with
In the second end credit scene with Loki.
Dude, I know Loki.
Loki, so good.
So yeah, Victor Timely, he was a version of Kang who traveled back to 1901 and founded a town in Wisconsin called Timely. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
So he was
made the
responsible for
original Human
constructing
Torch.
parts that would eventually lead to the technological advancements of the time machine in the 31st century. Look at that. So
So
he's
technically, it's a time
already
circle.
Kang. It's a paradox.
Paradox. He invents the things that allows him to come back to
Yeah.
invent the things that allow him
see.
to come back.
You
But
make-
he also invents the original Human Torch, who fought alongside Namor and Captain America and Bucky against Hitler and against Thor.
the original.
Yeah, Thor was on Hitler's side of the war. If you don't remember in the comics.
Jesus.
So the Human
For a time.
Torch, Jim Hammond, he's a superhero. Timely Comics. That's funny.
Mhm.
So, oh no, different one. He was created by a scientist, Phineas Horton.
Phineas Horton.
Yeah, that's not him. So it's just some guy.
No, just some guy.
So Edward has been debunked.
Edward's been debunked twice.
Edward, that's two
hey,
strikes.
I got one right.
If you hit a third, wait, what was right?
What?
Nothing was right.
The voting.
Okay. Cause yeah.
Yeah.
You can't vote in an election for American Samoa. Yeah, one more strike and you're out, and then we'll have to take you out like old Yeller into the back.
Old
It's
Yeller.
always old Yeller.
It's gonna be a shotgun to the back of the head.
Yeah. So, yeah. So Hector didn't bring any water for anyone else here for some reason.
No, 'cause
Understandable.
Hector, you're so rude. What is this? You're a guest in this house, and guests bring water. That is the number one rule.
All right. So what else about Quantumania?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I don't know. I liked it. I liked it.
I'm like all the in-depth stuff that I thought we were gonna go into. I'm like, no, it was just a good
No.
movie. I'm like,
Yeah, it's just a good. It's just because
The-
it's like
the-
it's like
oh.
a good movie with
What's that?
not a
What's
lot.
that young actress name that played the daughter?
I mean, it was dumb.
Oh. I've
She
never
looks
I don't know
like
either.
she looks like the perfect fit for older Ellie for Last of Us.
it's too late now.
Yeah, kinda. TBH.
Why?
But yeah.
It's too late because they're using this girl.
Again
That's-
for older Ellie?
Probably.
For Last.
Yeah,
of
Well, I
Us
mean,
Part
they've
Two?
She's
only
gonna
it's only
grow up.
yeah exactly. Like time moves forward, Hector.
Yeah, but like
Yes.
you have the actor right there.
Yeah. But there was a bunch of other
Yeah.
actors that were saying, "Oh, it was gonna be the person or whatever." But yeah, they chose her. But I was gonna say, the editing. What was up with all these fucking cuts in the beginning where it's like, "Where's my daughter?" Cut, and then they're like, "Oh, hold on, I'll take care of this." Cut, and then, "Dad, drink the goo." Cut. Like, what the fuck was that? Like, they were
I
on
don't
cocaine
know.
when they were
That was
editing or
weird.
something, and they were like, "Okay, we gotta do this one," and then we're going back, and then we're going front and then back, and then front and then back. Like, if you just gave me the one fucking 5 minutes of them going, "Oh," and this, and then her doing the knife flip, blah blah, and be like, "Yay, we got a ride, cool," and then you do a cut to them being like, "Drink the ooze." He's like, "Oh, okay,"
Oh.
and then he drinks the ooze all in one
You-
continuous
So
shot.
you think that part was a little bit choppy? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, it
it
was.
didn't make any sense from an editing standpoint.
Like
where I'm like,
I
what?
feel like they were trying to make it feel like fast, like oh
Urgency,
do yeah, like that. But it like you said, it just came out
fucked-
choppy.
Yeah, it fucked up the
Yeah.
tempo of the movie. If you gave me
Oh.
one continuous scene and you're like, "Whoa," and then another continuous scene, okay, cool. You could even cut right after he drinks the ooze, and I would have been like, "What is this?" But again, who knows? Who
Suspense.
cares? Yeah.
Can you understand
yeah.
me now?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. He's like,
Hi,
can you see me now? And
can
then
you
he's
hear
like wiping his mouth.
So-
And Jeb, something like that.
Oh,
So it was Geb.
when they killed the Omega Beam guy.
Dude,
Oh,
I
that,
know.
that was sad.
I know.
Ah.
I was like,
OP character, right?
I know. He was like, And it was funny because when he initially shot the huge starfish thingy-majigger that was
Mhm.
chasing them, and then it was like that weird sound, right? But then when he has it translating, it's just him going like, "Whoa."
It's just him screaming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's just-
I'm like, yeah, it's like
just him
the
screaming.
American version of him screaming,
It's fucking
the
great.
the English version. But what was his name? Let me see.
Oh, the
I
voice
don't
actor.
know. I have no
Laser
idea.
android.
That Kang was really intense. He just so his
He was
powers.
super intense.
So he just wiped people out of existence like that. He goes. Was that his power? To just wipe people out of existence, or it just evaporates? Cause that woman's staff when remember that one woman that sliced the guys.
Oh, so she had a
Yeah.
fucking existence wiping thing too. What the fuck was that about?
It goes.
I think if I remember correctly, a lot of the other characters when they killed some of them early on, they also just dissipated.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
it's- yeah. Not just her though. Like a lot of the other ones, they just dissipated too.
But Kang was like
Because they were like machines or whatever.
homelandering everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cool.
He does have like some like time powers too, no? 'Cause
Yeah,
He froze Janet in time.
Yes.
He froze
Yeah.
that staff in time. He froze the fucking core in time, as
Yeah.
when Janet blew it up.
So
So he had some mild time
No, but
manipulation.
does he have telekinesis or can?
no, it's just the
connect?
suit.
No.
It's all the suit.
So he might
She's a
have
fucking-
No, but
just
she's a-
what was how is he? He was like squeezing Ant-Man, right?
Yeah, because of his suit. His suit was like glowing, and it would do the little when he was like
Mhm.
and doing stuff.
What was that? What's that power
Just
called?
no. It's just the suit. It's like Iron Man. You know how Iron Man just does like little and then like little missiles fire or whatever. That's his fucking suit.
No,
That's
but
it.
what Hector's asking, how was he able to control Scott's suit or the daughter's suit?
Yeah.
With his suit.
Yeah,
that's
I know,
why.
but
What
what
does-
power is he
what's the
using?
Powers does the suit have?
Fuck.
He was
It
literally
Yeah.
it gives
squeezing- he was
him the
literally
power to a fucking matter manipulation. I want to say
I wanna
because
say.
yeah, he was picking them up, throwing them away, but I know it was all the suit because they made a point of always showing it going like when he was like,
Mhm.
and they made
the
a
reason
point
why
at the end, it
he
broke.
wasn't able to just like disintegrate
Exactly, 'cause,
Scott.
yeah, it wasn't just his powers.
Yeah.
Okay, disintegrating. So that's another thing. There's a lot of inconsistencies where he's erasing people out of existence with his fucking beams,
Mhm.
and then he blasts Ant-Man and just like, ouch.
Yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to say.
Come
yeah,
on.
that's one thing. I feel like
Imagine he shoots Hank, right? And Hank's like,
Yeah.
"Hey," and he's like, "Vroom," and then Hank just fucking gone unceremoniously. Like we would have been like, and that would have been like a real sacrifice or real showing us who Kang really is.
the thing is that they kind of give us the clues as to how Scott and them are able to wait off the beams
Mhm.
through the ants, because the ants become a
Yeah.
class 2 civilization.
Dude, ants become.
Okay. So what does that mean?
A class 2 civilization is a scale that some like weirdo scientist made way back in the day to determine how advanced the civilization is. A class 2 civilization is able to essentially, I think, use all the resources within their solar system or something.
A type 1, so it's called the Kardashev scale,
Yes.
Russian.
Yes.
A type 1 civilization is able to access all the energy available on its planet and store it for consumption.
Mm-hmm.
A type 2 civilization can directly consume the energy of a star. A type 3 civilization is able to capture all the energy emitted by its galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why a class 2 civilization would be able to harness like fucking faster than light travel and
Essentially.
faster than light travel and stuff like that.
Basically, they're like essentially like a science fiction class 2.
Yeah.
Class 3 or a class 4 a class 4 is probably like the civilization where Kang comes from, and the Council of Kangs is probably a class 5 because they harness multiple universes' energies.
Well, how did his chair get through the fucking multiverse? That's the other thing.
Huh?
How did his chair get through the multiverse? That's the other thing. Because I don't think he built it with the Council of Kangs. I think he built it himself. So
No, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so he himself, the way he's able to become a class 5 civilization is because he invented that chair. I'm pretty sure that chair is not standard amongst the.
yeah,
the-
they don't
the-
hand
the
it out at the
civ.
Walmarts in the
Yeah,
future.
exactly. So like his
So-
civilization is probably class 4.
Okay. So
and
type 2 is a control of the
sun.
to
the
a
solar
star,
system,
stars, right?
essentially, yeah.
Harnessing disposable energy to make our civilization immune to extinction. A type 3, a species then becomes galactic travelers with knowledge of everything having to do with the energy,
Mhm.
becoming a master race, right? So we are technically a type 2 because we have solar power.
Us? No, we're not.
All-
A type 2 would be able to create a Dyson sphere to capture all of the energy of the sun.
Oh, okay, that's true.
A
I
type
guess.
1, we're
We're
barely
one and a
a
half.
type 1.
We're 1.5
No, we're
because
not even 1.5.
we're harnessing star power.
Yeah,
That's
we are
solar
harness-
power.
Yeah, barely.
That's like 1.5. 1.5. A type
like we can't even really
4
use our
okay.
nuclear energy.
Kardashev believed the Type 4 civilization was
But
too
nuclear
advanced,
isn't solar.
and he
For-
didn't go
to
beyond
completely
Type
be
3.
a Type 1, you have to be able to master all the resources on your planet.
True, Edward's right.
We have mastered all of them. We've mastered ocean.
Earth,
I
wind,
know. Earth,
air,
Earth, wind, and
fire.
fire. Do you remember? 21st of September. No, but yeah, we have essentially where it's like solar, wind power, hydroelectric power, nuclear energy.
No, but
No.
we haven't mastered them.
Yeah,
though.
we haven't mastered them.
That's the issue.
Yeah,
Like
we're still
most
type-
Nuclear
homes, like a lot
fission.
of homes still go without electricity. Like, and
Let me
honestly,
see.
although to be fair, that's more of an issue of distribution rather than
because
being
we're
able
not
to
efficient
use
with
it.
it.
Yeah,
either.
we're not efficient
Because
with
we
it.
have a lot.
Oh, okay. Type
we're-
4
We
civilizations.
have a lot of people that just want to take.
Type 4 civilizations would hypothetically be able to harness all of the power available in those in their galaxies.
Yeah.
And then Type 5 would be those in their universes and can travel the multiverse.
yeah, theoretically,
Oh.
because obviously we don't know if any of that's possible.
Yeah, it is. I just saw a documentary called Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
only Kang could do it.
Only Kang.
Yeah. So, and whoever else was in his council of kings and,
then
stuff.
Doctor
So,
Strange.
well, inadvertently,
Inadvertently.
he was. No, he
No,
was.
he
no, he
did it.
can't.
Yeah, he
He
did it with the
didn't.
Darkhold purposefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. But I'm saying he didn't. That's not true multiversal travel. That's just him going into the dead body or using an avatar to project his mind into it.
True.
But it's not actual travel. And the only actual traveling was Stargirl, fucking
That's
Oh, yeah.
true.
America
That's true.
Chavez, because she did
Stargirl.
it by accident by doing the star stuff.
Or
She
her
like,
superpower. Yeah. Wait,
So
hold on. Wait.
But now
and
they have that power.
in Multiverse of
Mhm.
Madness, how did Doctor Strange go into that universe that was dying, where he has another of himself?
Wanda banished him to
yeah,
it.
one.
Oh, Wanda vanished. Okay, so it wasn't his. It was Wanda.
No, because Wanda was like bzz to Stargirl, and then she forced her to open a portal, and then kicked her out into there.
Oh,
Kicked
okay,
him out
okay,
into
okay.
there.
So it was still, no matter what, it was still just America
Yeah.
Chavez.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, yeah. So
Basically.
America
Oh yeah,
Chavez.
because even she couldn't travel between multiverses.
Mhm.
She couldn't control it
She couldn't control it.
because she's never been to the same one twice.
Mhm.
But I mean, now with the training and stuff, blah blah blah,
Yeah,
we're
but-
assuming she's gonna have better control because she was able to open them back to get us back into our universe.
So I guess that's how they'll be able to fight Kang, using
Yeah.
America Chavez.
pretty much because
Yeah.
Kang's gonna be like, "See ya, nerds," and then America's gonna be like, "Bzz." But I don't know. We'll see what happens with that.
Mhm.
And then fucking Wanda's not dead, so.
I
But
don't think she's dead.
I
course
don't
not.
think she's dead. She
She's-
might be, but I don't think so.
She's gonna
Yeah.
go off and hide and live another life.
Do we know if
then
the
meet-
actress has any more movies left in her contract?
And then
Yep.
She does?
And meet the X-Men, and then make no mutants.
well, that's true. She's still got to wipe out.
All the
Nah, I feel like that was her moment already in the movie where she was like, "What mouth?" And then he's like,
Mhm.
and then
Oh yeah, she doesn't have to, because remember, she's a different.
she's
a
a whole different being. There's only
Yeah.
there's only one Scarlet Witch in the entire multiverse too. There's not like multiple Scarlet Witches.
No, there is multiple Scarlet Witches.
I'll bet you $75,000
I'm.
because they said she is a multiversal being. She's like a Nexus being. There can only be one of her. Because it's not just like, oh, I'm Scarlet Witch. No, the Scarlet Witch.
But then every other Scarlet Witch has the potential to do that, right? You just need the dark
No.
hold.
Okay, so the Scarlet Witch counts as the most powerful character in Marvel Comics as a Nexus being, unique in
Nexus
the
being,
Marvel universe.
totally.
But like every other Marvel superhero and supervillain, powerful Scarlet Witch variants exist in different timelines and realities.
Okay, so how are they Nexus beings where they're...
Four
Oh,
there.
okay, because it says a Nexus being has the ability to affect probability and the future, altering the flow of the universal
Mhm.
time stream.
In their
But
own universe.
I thought a Nexus being was... There's supposedly only one true Nexus being within each reality in the multiverse, so it's...
Yes, so each reality has one Nexus being, but like okay, even it's because this is what gets complicated about time travel and multiple realities. Is if one person exists in one reality and there's an infinite number of them, there's going to be an infinite number of that exact copy.
Multiple Kangs.
Yeah, not just multiple Kangs, but like each individual Kang. So like you know how we saw the Pharaoh Kang?
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be an infinite number of Pharaoh Kangs, technically speaking. It's just that we only ever see that one.
Hmm.
Because infinite implies that there's an infinite amount of each
Okay.
infinity.
So a Nexus being is an entity with the ability to affect the probability of an event and create Nexus events that otherwise wouldn't happen. That's what a Nexus Being is. They can directly affect the flow of time.
Mhm.
Because remember, they told us, they essentially was like, yeah, Iron Man and all that stuff, that was all planned out. But
Mhm.
none of it actually mattered, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Because it was all meticulously planned out. But a Nexus Being can break out of that loop. That's basically what it
Mhm.
is. So a Nexus Being doesn't mean there's only one of them.
Yeah.
You should have bet, man. You would have won $75,000.
The issue is that like, aren't we technically now replaying like? This is the part where it gets funky because technically speaking, now we're replaying the events that led up to there being one who remains, which then goes back and edit the timelines.
Yes, that's the whole point.
To
That's the
create
whole
the
point.
thing. Yeah.
That was the whole point of the Loki series.
Yeah,
Because
so
now we see
technically
him.
right now, all this has already also doesn't kind of matter because we've already seen the end results of these next few movies.
Actually, we don't know because remember, it's a Kang that's up there. But we don't know if it's Kang the Conqueror. We don't even know if he's gonna come back. We don't know if it's a variant
True,
of
'cause
him
we
that
don't know
cleans
how-
himself up.
Yeah, because he didn't say.
We don't know how much to trust the one who remains because the one who remains said like, yes, I've already done all this. Any like if you choose to kill me, we'll just end up right back here with you two in front of me. So I mean that technically implies that everything we're seeing now also doesn't matter because we've already done
Well,
it.
I'm taking
Through him,
I'm seeing
but-
that as like a multiverse time stream, right? Because I'm like, as a viewer, there's a point A and a point B in the multiverse time stream, right? The point A at the beginning of the Loki series was everything's in a circle, and the
Mhm.
point B was you kill he who remains and chaos starts to happen. So now we're going to point C as us the viewers, like you know how
Yeah, we're seeing
the,
it.
like the
this has
Doctor
all
Who.
already
Think of it like the
happened.
Doctor Who timeline.
Yeah.
Technically, all of time's already happened, but Doctor Who's timeline happens, and we see he
Yeah.
still ages, he still grows, even though it's already happened, and he's visited his own grave before.
Yeah.
But there's still stuff
No,
happening
yeah,
in
no,
between that.
Yeah, we're seeing it
So
laid
it
out
does
for
matter.
the first time.
Exactly. So
But
it does matter.
doesn't technically matter from the in-story perspective because it's all already happened. All these events, Kang dying, all this stuff, the one who remains has seen it all, essentially. All of this circles back to him being there again with Loki and Sylvie there.
Well, no. He just said "see you soon," which means that I think that was more of a tongue-in-cheek of like he knows that there's a lot of variants of him
No,
that
before
are gonna
that,
come out.
before he says that, he tells them, yeah, if you kill me, we're just going to end up right back here.
No. He says, you kill me, or you take over the TVA. You guys control the flow of time, keep it running smoothly, or you kill me and unleash a bunch worse versions of me. And that's why when he dies, he goes, "See you soon." But that's like a tongue-in-cheek thing because he's like he didn't expect them because he doesn't know what happens past that certain moment. So he's like, I'll see you soon," and they're like, "Oh shit!" Like he wasn't even afraid of death or whatever because he knows what's gonna happen next. And then the infinite versions, you're gonna see him again.
Wait, so then what does he say when they first meet him? Because when they first meet him, I remember him saying something along the lines of like, yeah, I've been all this here. If you kill me, we'll just end up right back here.
No, because he.
I gotta rewatch that because
Yeah,
I'm
I remember.
pretty sure
I'm
that's
like,
what happened.
so I rewatched it like a few weeks ago before
Mhm.
because when the trailer came out, I was hyped. So I rewatched his 2 episodes, and I remember him being like to Sylvie, like, "Hypocrite, grow up," and because she's also a murderer, and she was trying to be like, "Oh, you've murdered people," and he's like, "Oh, I've murdered people. Okay, hypocrite. It's time to grow up, Sylvie,
Mhm.
and be an adult." Blah blah blah. But yeah, no, he tells them, "You guys have the seat, or you kill me and unleash a torrent of me's just to end up with one Kang or see you soon, but-
Mm. Okay.
Yeah. But I'm like, yeah, because I don't remember him saying like, "Oh, I'll be back here again in this exact flow," because that flow won't happen because
No,
we
he
saw.
didn't say that. He said we'll just end up right back here.
Mm,
He said something along those lines where like
I don't know.
yeah, a version of me will end up winning. He'll create the TVA and then he'll recreate the sacred timeline because that's what was most optimal to prevent multiversal war.
Mhm.
And then that person will then go on to choose Sylvie and Loki to come back again.
I don't know. I don't know if he told him that part where he's like,
Well,
"We're
he
gonna
didn't
end up
explain
again."
it that far, but that was the
No.
implication of the scene that like
I don't remember
that like that once the multiversal war happens, Kangs will fight. One Kang will come out as the winner. That Kang will then go on to become the one who remains, and the one who remains will eventually get tired because he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm too old for this again." And then he'll select Sylvie. He'll go through multiple failed attempts again because that's what happened before. He tried different things to change things, and none of them worked until he found Sylvie and Loki because he said, "Oh yeah, you guys are just like me." And then then the Kang, whoever wins the multiversal war, will choose Sylvie and Loki again after failed attempts. Sylvie and Loki will end up right back there for them to make their choice again.
I don't know. Because he never said that they've done it already. He just said this is all scripted, blah, blah, blah. He never said, oh, like he knew
Yeah.
up until a point what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Because he dictated all of that. But I don't remember him saying anything about like, oh, we're just going to end up here again, blah, blah, blah. Because technically those variants are unique variants
Mhm.
in that they were supposed to be pruned. They weren't. They made it past Alioth. None of the other
Yeah.
ones had ever made it past Alioth either. So I don't think... Because when he first meets him, he's like, "Oh, it's in the flesh," because it's the first time he's actually seeing. him.
Yeah.
So. Oh well, there's a lot of timey-wimey.
Yeah, a lot of
Loki 2.
Loki season 2.
Yeah, so
We're
Loki
here.
season 2 was teased, and Hogwarts. Tell me about Hogwarts.
Hogwarts?
Hard pivot.
Now we're
Hogwarts,
the
hard pivot.
to
Just a
video
hard
games?
pivot.
So remember, guys, you can buy things if you're a fan of the IP without being transphobic.
Yeah, I feel like the debate over whether an individual should buy a game or not is basically just what's the term? Id pull. It's like identity politics with no meaning behind it.
It just sucks.
It's a virtue signal essentially.
Yes.
It's a virtue signal. I
Yes.
don't think it's really relevant. I mean, to be fair, it's up to each individual trans person to make that choice around the people around them.
Mhm.
There's too many variables, and it's too tiny for there to be like this huge debate about whether to buy it or not.
Mhm.
Cause like I guess I can theoretically see how someone buying a Hogwarts Legacy game. Of course, it also depends on your intentions. Like, there's a lot of people buying Hogwarts Legacy specifically to be transphobic,
Mhm.
and they're shoving it in people's faces. And then, of course,
Yeah.
but then that's not the act of buying the game. That's just them being a dickhead.
Yeah.
I think having a debate over that is essentially taking away from
Actual issues.
actual issues, like I don't know, like
why are you still giving money to this person, or like that? Because
yeah. Why is she still getting a cut?
Yeah,
Well, it's like
well,
because it's in
yeah.
the contract, and you know.
Because
but
when I'm like, but then
well,
what makes them worse is because just how Kanye West was canceled. Oh, not canceled. Well, Kanye West was cut off.
But to be fair, she
You could
hadn't
do
said.
this-
He was literally saying things like "I'm a Nazi" and Hitler was great, you know. And
Yeah.
he was like, "I can." He said specifically, "I can say anti-Semitic shit, and Adidas can't drop me." Like he was basically saying, like, "Fuck you guys." So that's
yeah,
what
he
they're
was
like. boom.
directly calling them out.
Exactly. Yeah.
But-
J.K. Rowling hasn't done that yet, but
she's
she
funding directly.
She
though.
hasn't directly called anyone out,
Yeah.
except that she has encouraged her fans to not necessarily send death threats, but to definitely bully trans people.
Yeah, because you see, like, it's always thinly veiled stuff on Twitter where they're like,
They're
"How do
dog
you-"
whistles.
Yeah,
They're
yeah, yeah.
dog
Or
whistles.
she's
That's
like,
essentially
"How
what
do you
she's-
sleep with
she's
yourself?"
doing.
And she's like, "With all my money." And it's like, "Oh shit!" Like, I know exactly. She's acknowledging that she knows exactly what you're upset about,
Mm-hmm.
and then bragging about it.
Yeah.
You know,
Not to-
without actually having to say, "I am transphobic." She's just going, "How do you sleep with yourself?" Saying all these things, and she's like, "I sleep great because of all my money."
Yeah, like
know?
I J.K. Rowling is an objectively shitty person.
Yes.
She directly funds right-wing politicians in Europe who actively encourage anti-Semitic, anti-Semitic, homophobic, and transphobic things. Like they directly fund not only policies and groups that try to advocate for the eradication of gay people, trans people, and
A women's
to an
shelter.
extent.
A women's shelter that only accepts real women.
Yeah,
And she was like, "Oh, for like real women," and it's like, you know, making a point of saying that.
exactly.
It's like, geez, you know, like again, it's a dog whistle. She didn't say it, but it's said. But the
Yeah,
the
but-
dogs can hear it. The hounds.
it doesn't. At the end of the day, this has nothing to do with purchasing Hogwarts Legacy,
Exactly.
because an individual, like a non-public person, purchasing or not purchasing it, it's not gonna matter.
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling has diehard fans that will make the video game a success no matter what.
She's already rich.
Yeah, she's already rich.
You not buying it isn't gonna take away. Oh, you took away like $1 or whatever from her. You
Yeah.
know?
So
It's
what should have
irrelevant.
happened is everyone who is actively against J.K. Rowling
Go
should've-
to her house, storm it
Burn
like
her
the
hou- yeah.
January 6th. Make January 6th look like a
hang her
fucking
on a
joke.
cross. No, no.
Right.
Should have
Legal reasons,
supported
it's a joke.
Hassan's stream.
Yeah, exactly.
All of them.
Not to be
all-
taken
like,
seriously.
Yeah,
anyone
Whoa,
with
guys.
with half a brain cell.
I wouldn't have said that.
it's a joke. We're obviously joking.
Yeah, we're obviously
fucking
joking.
around, fucking around.
Like, don't do that until they start something. No.
Yeah, remember, there's a phrase that it's illegal to say. It is illegal for you to say, "I want to kill the president of the United States." It's illegal for you to say that, right? Except for this context, which I'm telling you, it's illegal to say it.
Yeah.
Like, so remember, never ever go, "I want to kill the president of the United States of America," because then people will take it seriously, right? Again, outside of this context,
Outside
I
of the
am
context.
saying this in the context of what you're not supposed to say seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is a quote. This is not me saying it.
Take the full
yeah,
quote.
exactly. I'm not like wishing for anything. No.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
simply telling you you're not supposed to say. It's like it's one of the few phrases that you're not allowed to say. You know how like free speech works, right? Like you can fucking slander people and stuff. You can be like, yeah, Brad Pitt has like a 2-inch penis and like
I heard.
and yeah, exactly. I heard,
I heard.
as reported by an anonymous source, and you can print
Yeah.
this on the front page of a fucking thing, stick it in front of a supermarket, and be like, this is how bad Alec Baldwin feels no remorse, an inside scoop, and it's like all this bullshit they can put. But you
who's the
cannot-
anonymous source? Oh, my tuna can.
Exactly, yeah. But one of the phrases that you can't put out there is, "I want to kill the president of the United States of America."
Behind a cap of a Snapple.
Snapple
I read it in a
facts.
Snapple cap.
Oh yeah, I read it on a Snapple cap. Huh? Look at that. It says here, "I want to kill the president of the United States of America." Why?
Interesting.
Why would someone want to write that? You know. But yeah, remember, don't say that phrase
Yeah.
ever meaning it.
Hashtag
Again,
not sponsored.
This is out. Not sponsored.
As
Honestly.
long as you have proven you have no intent, and then you can only sue for
Yeah.
real damages.
Exactly.
Because real damages.
Well, for
Sue
someone
for
famous,
malice.
for someone
Malice
famous,
or-
they have to meet the standard of actual malice,
Which is very
which
high.
is unbelievable.
Yeah.
You essentially have to like divine what the other person's thinking.
But
Not
J.K.
necessarily.
Rowling in Britain, they're a lot looser with it
Mhm.
because someone had to fucking publicly apologize on Twitter. Did you see that?
No.
Someone was sued to apologize on Twitter to J.K. Rowling while we're talking about this.
Ooh.
Or is it fucking Twitter J.K. apology? So it was J.K. Rowling critic forced to publicly apologize for calling her a Nazi after lawsuit threat. And someone was like, I'm going to use my U.S. rights to say, yeah, she's a fucking Nazi and she's dumb as fucking, like all these things, right? Because he's in the U.S., so she
Mhm.
can't do anything. But yeah, he was,
Yeah, fuck. I'll do it to my U.S. rights right now. She's a transphobic Nazi. I'm not even joking.
there it is. Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling appears to have successfully used the legal baton to force a critic who called her a Nazi to apologize. J.K. Rowling has faced fear backlash from former fans because of reviews and statements about transgender individuals and biological sex. She made headlines in June 2020 after sharing a series of tweets on her thought regarding the concept of sex. If sex isn't real, there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the lived reality of women globally is erased. I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. It isn't hate to speak the truth. Also, she's confounding sex with gender identity.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, she's not confounding it.
she's doing it on purpose.
She's doing it on purpose.
yeah.
She's not mistaken about what she's doing. She's purposefully doing this. Just
Yeah.
you know.
So it says, one Twitter posted a now deleted tweet that said J.K. Rowling was a Nazi or at least has views that align with them. Rowling responded with a threat of legal action in December. Okie dokie, we'll play it your way. Give my regards to your solicitor. And then on Monday, 2 months after the accusation, the person tweeted a retraction. I would like to publicly apologize for a previous Twitter thread where I interacted with J.K. Rowling on matters relating to the transgender community. I have now removed these tweets and would like to apologize to J.K. Rowling directly for causing potential upset.
So
That's
I will take this
fucking
moment
nuts.
to use the small platform that I have of like 20 people to say J.K. Rowling is a Nazi.
UK libel laws.
Yeah,
It's a UK,
Yeah,
right?
UK.
And that's why
Fuck
someone
her,
says,
dude.
where's the one where they said, I'm going to use my US one?
No, like I don't know. Like it's so stupid because one, she's openly collaborated with like actual fascists and borderline neo-Nazis like Matt Walsh and shit.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you know, in the UK a couple of years ago, I think this is like a decade old now. Someone like I don't know if they went to prison or they had to pay like a huge fine for basically teaching their pug how to sig hail.
Bruh.
They taught their like pug how to sig hail as like a prank for their girlfriend, and they ended up going to like prison, I think, for like 6 months or something. And then like it's just a matter of wealth, because the dude was just like a random dude in England, and this is J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
Like it's the only reason is because she's rich.
Let me see. How
Also,
long
did
ago
you
was
know
this?
that like Harry Potter isn't original? Neil Gaiman did a book series that is almost essentially play by play Harry Potter, but with
What
a lot of like the
series?
shitty stuff taken out.
What's the series?
I think it's called Book of Magic. He did it for DC.
Book of Magic. No, Neil Gaiman. Oh, the Books of Magic.
Yes.
That's fucking hilarious. Just because it has a guy on the front with glasses.
No, it's
That's
also
Harry
it's also
Potter.
the same premise. Like I think it's like an abused kid who who's introduced to the world of magic, who then goes to a boarding school. You know,
It tells the story of a
What
young
kind
boy.
Of fucking like literally every half of the isekais in
Yeah.
animes are like, oh, I got
The same.
reincarnated. And you learn about magic, and you learn about this world.
Well,
yeah,
like
it-
an RPG.
it's about
you know what
escapism. Remember, Japanese people don't like their lives. so-
yeah.
I mean? I know.
It tells the story of a young boy who has the potential to become the world's greatest magician. There was
Or OP Overlord.
Volume 1 and Volume
OP,
2.
whatever.
Overlook. Well, okay. Like to be fair, I strongly maintain that. Like I think some people I talked to privately like disagreed with me, but I maintain that because you know what, like what's becoming like a lot of popular. Like they don't even get superpowers. You know what they do? They take their handymans. Like one of the most recent animes to come out that's like an isekai is like your average like janitor handyman
Oh,
who like
yeah.
fixes light bulbs, and now
Cooking snacks for the next world or something.
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
remember-
they're not even necessarily OP. They're just like, I know how to change a doorknob, and this world,
Appreciate.
yeah, and this world appreciates the fact that I can change doorknobs. Like,
Appreciation and all that stuff.
How is this like Harry Potter though? Because from the looks of it, it's the Phantom Stranger, Doctor Occult, Mr. E, and Constantine. It's them mentoring him, basically. I mean,
yeah, it's not exactly the same. It's a lot. There's also
I feel like they just took the
I think
cover.
it's called Earthsea. No, that came out before.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying I feel like they just took the cover, like on like Twitter or whoever, and then ran with it, saying, "Oh, this is Harry Potter." You know, like this is where she ripped it off from. But no, it doesn't.
No,
It
no, no.
doesn't
There's
look
like a lot of
it's-
no. It's because a lot of Harry Potter, and like this isn't just me. Like it's like a lot of things. It's a lot of Harry Potter is patchwork plagiarized.
What do you mean?
Like they took this from here, she took this from here, she took that from over there.
And she named the one Chinese character Cho Chang.
Exactly.
My
I'm not saying it's
goodness.
literally Patrick plagiarized, but it's like it's there's a lot of sussy things around there.
What is Cho short for? Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. No, then
They have
they meet
that. There's like a couple of
Zatanna.
other things.
I don't know. I mean, I'm like looking through the storylines and stuff. He talks to angels and stuff like that.
Oh God.
Yeah, this is
That-
this,
what
this
is
seems
it
this
about?
Neil Gaiman.
Yeah,
b-
Neil
b-
Gaiman. It's Neil Gaiman.
Bill John, the Bob. How'd you say it? The actual angel, the biblical no.
Biblically
accurate
accurate
angel,
angels.
the one
Be
with-
not afraid. Twing.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
Those aren't technically angels.
What
The
do you mean?
Euphrates, they're specifically to make the throne of God, I think it's called, movable.
Hmm?
There's a lot of times in the Bible where angels are depicted as humans.
I was gonna say. Remember, they appear like that so as to not destroy a human's mind, and on top of that, they like that's why they go be not afraid, because you're like, what the fuck is this thing, you know? But there's different like levels of angels too, because
Yeah,
there's
there's
like the
different types.
archangels that are like the ones, the warriors, and then there's like cherubs or whatever.
Yeah.
And then but I don't know enough lore about, I don't know enough Bible lore. Yeah.
it is lore because it's not
It's
true.
it's mythology. It's mythology.
It's not true.
It's not real.
It's not real.
This is our Reddit atheist segment.
Atheist.
So-
R / atheism. It's
Yeah.
getting a lot of
Reddit atheist filled.
Honestly. So, in conclusion, that it was
In conclusion, anyone with half a brain that supports trans people should have supported Hassan doing his stream, because the biggest streamer on Twitch playing Hogwarts Legacy and criticizing the game to shit, and then having a bunch of normies stand there and listen to like essentially pro-trans propaganda would do wildly more than boycotting would ever do, because boycotting isn't real. We already know this. Voting with your wallet is not real. It's not a thing that works in the larger scale of capitalism and massive mega corporations.
Dude, when they fucking did that segment of capitalism and Ant-Man, and like, I don't know, this world socialism is
It's charged.
Yeah, it's a
charged
charged
out there,
word.
but
Yeah.
when you, these ants really
Yeah, they really get together, and you're like, all right, it's that.
Uh,
But yeah, because they're all laborers, so
Yeah.
it's different.
ants, literally ants telling
Yeah.
us humans.
Okay.
that
So it
capitalism doesn't
says.
work.
Oh fuck! Why did I accidentally go backwards? So it says, it's not actually anything like it. I'm pretty sure that was a meme, because it says a boy wizard is nothing very original in literature. This really hits so close, one might wonder why there was never any legal dispute over the matter. So, the only similarities were pretty much that he has glasses. His parents are murdered. Well, his parents don't get murdered till he was 15.
Yeah.
And Harry's were killed as a baby. It's just a boy wizard. And then.
Yeah, it's
turning
like the
into a hero.
mildest
It's a
of, like,
hero's journey.
It's a
There-
hero's journey.
There's
There's only 2 stories.
there's only 2 stories: a hero's journey and a stranger comes to town. Broke Till Friday podcast.
Ant-Man and the Wasp versus Star Wars. They're 2 different stories.
Yes, they're 2
2
different stories. Broke Till Friday. Thank you.
The 2 different genders.
Good night.
2 different channels.
Remember, there's only 2 genders. Thank you. Good night.
Oh God. No.
Star Wars and Ant-Man.
There's only 2 genders: Star Wars or Marvel.
We're broke till Friday. Goodbye, my friends. We'll see you next week. Now I'ma go and beat my meat. And we're broke till Friday. Goodbye, my friends. We'll see you next week. And now I'ma go and beat my meat. And we're broke till Friday.